Today what we're going to be working on is solving a system of equations by using the elimination method. So I'd like you to put me on pause, do the try this, which is just adding some monomials here, and then come back and check your answers. So add the monomials and tell me what you think though that's called, and then come back and check your answers. Okay, so for number one, we have -3 plus 3. Well, -3 plus 3 is equal to 0. Number two, x plus -x, that's also equal to 0. And number 3, we have -4x plus 4x, well, that's equal to 0 too. So notice that the numbers that we're adding, well, one of them is positive and one is negative. One is positive, one is negative, one is positive, and one is negative. What are those called? Well, hopefully you remember that they are called additive inverses. They're opposites. And anytime you add opposites, you will always get 0. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. When you add them, you always get 0. All right, let's go over how to solve a system of equations by elimination. Number one, you're going to make sure you line up the like terms. So make sure when you have your equations, you have your x's above and below each other, your y's are above and below each other, your equals is above and below. You want to get a pair of like terms, like your x's or your y's, to be inverses. You might have to multiply one or both the equations to achieve this. You're going to add the equations together to eliminate one of the variables. Because remember, when we add opposites here, right, we get 0. When we add opposites, we get 0. Okay, and then we're going to solve for whatever variable we have left. When you're done, you're going to plug your unknown variable into either equation to find the missing variable. So it doesn't matter which equation you plug it into. They're both linear equations, so they both will be easy. You're going to write the solution as a point, as an xy. So remember, a point is x comma y, so you're going to put the x first and then the y. And then you're going to verify the solution. Remember, verify the solution means to check. All right, so let's take a look at number one. So the first thing I'm looking at is to make sure my x's are lined up, my y's are lined up, my equals are lined up, and they are. I'm looking for opposites, either the x's to be opposites or the y's to be opposites. So I notice here with the x's, one's positive, one's negative, but they have different numbers. One's positive 8 and one's negative 10. But look at the y's. I have negative 5y and positive 5y. These are opposites. So these will cancel out if I add them. So that's what I'm going to do. I already have opposites, so I don't have to do anything but add. So I'm going to draw a line underneath and add. All right, so when I add, what happens is the y's, negative 5y and positive 5y, they cancel. So I'm going to add these here. 8x minus 10x is negative 2x equals. And 12 minus 10 is 2. Now I'm going to solve for x. So divide by negative 2. That becomes 1x. 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. All right, now that I have x, I have to find the y value. So I'm going to put down here, find y. All right, you could take the first equation or the second equation, the first one or the second one. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to use the first one. 8x minus 5y equals 12. So we're going to plug in x is negative 1. So 8 times x, which is negative 1, minus 5y equals 12. 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. Minus 5y equals 12. Plus 8 to both sides because we're solving for y. So negative 5y equals 20. Divide both sides by negative 5. 20 divided by negative 5, y is equal to negative 4. All right, so now we're going to write the word solution. We're going to write our solution as a point. Remember, the point is x comma y. So x is negative 1 and y is negative 4. All right, so now we're going to verify. So you have two equations that you have to verify. So I'm going to write down the first one, 8x minus 5y equals 12. Plug in x and y. So we have 8 times negative 1 minus 5 times negative 4. Does this equal 12? So remember, when you do a check, you're showing one side is the same exact thing as the other. 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. Negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20. Does that equal 12? Negative 8 plus 20 is 12. So 12 equals 12, and that checks. Now we have to do equation 2. Negative 10x plus 5y equals negative 10. Plug in x, which is negative 1. Plug in y, which is negative 4. And is this going to equal negative 10? Negative 10 times negative 1 is 10. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. So I have 10 minus 20 equals negative 10. Yes, 10 minus 20 is negative 10 equals negative 10. So that checks. All right, so let's try example number 2. Okay, so for number 2, I notice here I have, the equation 7x plus 2y equals 24 and 8x plus 2y equals 30. So I notice that the y's, look at the y's here, positive 2y, positive 2y. They're the same number, they're both positive. Now if I can make one of these a negative 2, well then I'll have opposites. So remember, in order to change an equation, you have to multiply the entire equation by a specific number. So how can I make, I'm going to change the top equation. You could use top or bottom, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to use the top one. How can I change the top equation and make this a negative 2y? Well, keep the number the same, would multiply by 1, but I want it to be negative, so I'm going to have to multiply by a negative 1. Notice I put the parentheses around the entire equation, even the equals. So I'm going to multiply through by negative 1, so I get negative 7x minus 2y equals, don't forget the equals, negative 24. Now I'm going to keep the bottom equation the same, 8x. Notice now I have opposites, negative 2y, positive 2y. Now I'm ready to actually add these. So the negative 2y and positive 2y cancel. Negative 7x plus 8x is positive 1x equals negative 24 plus 30 is equal to 6. So this was nice because this just solved right away as soon as we got those to cancel the y's. So now the next part is to find, if I found x, now I have to find y. Pick an equation. It doesn't matter which equation you pick. I'm going to pick the first one, so I'm going to label this one 1 and this one 2. So I'm going to use 7x plus 2y equals 24. Plug in x is 6. 7 times 6 plus 2y equals 24. 7 times 6 is 42 plus 2y equals 24. Solving for y, minus 42. So that cancels. 2y equals 24 minus 42 is negative 18. divide by 2, y is equal to negative 9. All right, so you're going to write the word solution. Remember, my solution is x comma y. X comes first. So x is 6, y is negative 9. All right, now we're going to verify the solution. All right, we have two equations, so that means we're going to have two checks. All right, so write down the first one, 7x plus 2y equals 24. Plug in x and y. So it's 7 times 6 plus 2 times negative 9 equals 24. You could, if you want, just plug this into the calculator all at one time. You don't have to do piece by piece. So if you plug this all in the calculator all at one time, you get 24. So 24 equals 24, and that checks. All right, now we have to check the second equation. So write down the equation. 8x plus 2y equals 30. Plug in x is 6, and y is negative 9 equals 30. Plug this whole thing into the calculator at one time. We get 30 equals 30, and that checks. Okay, so I want to go over one more with you. So let's take a look at number 3. Okay, so I noticed right away with number 3, this first equation, y equals 2x plus 3, is not in the right form like the one below it, where the x's and the y's are on both sides, like 2x plus 4y equals 42. So I need to rearrange this. Okay, so I'm going to write it over here. I'm just going to rewrite this. Y equals 2x plus 3. I need to get the x to move over to the other side, like this one has x and y on one side. All right, so I'm going to move 2x over by minusing 2x. So minus 2x. So should I put the 2x in front of the y or behind the y? Look how it is over here. It's in front of the y. So I'm going to put negative 2x. It's a positive y equals 3. Okay, so now I'm just going to rewrite my equations. Okay, so I'm rewriting, here's the first one. So negative 2x plus y equals 3. And now I'm going to put the second one right below it. Positive 2x plus 4y equals 42. So this is nice because look at the x's. The x's are actually opposites. Negative 2x plus 2x, that actually cancels out right away. So that cancels out. And now the y's. We have 1y plus 4y is 5y. And 3 plus 42 is 45. Divide by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. All right, the next thing we need to do is find the y value. I'm sorry, we have the y value. We actually have to find the x value. So it doesn't matter which equation you plug it into. But let's write this down. We're actually finding x this time because we already have y. All right, so I'm going to plug it into the bottom one here. So write it down. 2x plus 4y equals 42. All right, so I have 2x plus 4 times y is 9 equals 42. 4 times 9 is 36. Minus 42 from both sides. Minus 36. From both sides, solving for x. 42 minus 36. So I have 2x equals 42 minus 36 is 6. Divide by 2. X is equal to 3. All right, so now I can write the word solution. Solution. Remember, it's x comma y. X was 3, and y is 9. All right, now we're going to do our verify. All right, so I want to, I'm going to start with the first equation. I know I kind of wrote all over. I just tried to erase it, and I can't erase it. So this is going to be my first one. This one's going to be my second one. So write the first one down in your verify, which is y equals 2x plus 3. So we have y is 9. So y is 9 equals 2 times 3 plus 3. Notice I'm checking always the original. I'm not checking this one. When you do a check, you always check original. So this is 9 equals 6 plus 3. 9 equals 9. 6 plus 3 is 9, so that checks. All right, now we're going to check equation 2. 2x plus 4y equals 42. So it's 2 times 3 plus 4 times 9. Does that equal 42? So we have 6 plus 36. 4 times 9 is 36. 6 plus 36 is 42 equals 42, and that checks. Okay, so that's it, and we'll practice in class tomorrow. Everybody have a good night.